Oh hey, were you about to go to the store to buy a Fuji XH2s to upgrade from the XT4? Let me save you a couple pennies on that decision.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So we got a little battle on our hands. I took this Fuji XH2s with the 100 to 400 and the XT4, and I switched lenses in the field to match the shots. It was a pain in the bitch, but our Zeiss lens arrived. It's here. If you want to know why it's not autofocusing right now, it's because it makes these noises. Is it doing it? So I'm going to do two videos comparing these two cameras. This one's for wildlife, testing like the frame rates, 4K 60 versus 4K 120p. Is it really that much better? And then the next video I'll do like vlogging tests and we'll test the dynamic range. No one cares. Our first test, Fuji XH2s versus itself. 4K 120p versus HD 240p. It's funny, I switched lenses to get the XT4 shot and then this chipmunk ran. It ran in the wind, so we never got anything from the XT4 in that moment. But that HD 240p is just so much worse, it's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed to shoot it. The second thing I wanted to know is, F-Log 2, is that worse than F-Log? And it appears to be quite a bit. In 4K 120p, F-Log 2 is a no-go, I think. It's pretty bad. It's like noticeably less sharp and everything sucks about it. You might have more dynamic range, but we're in F-Log 2 right now for no reason inside a living room, but that it was a big selling feature and then you can't really utilize it fully in the best frame rates. Okay, here's where my life changed for the worst. That duck comes out of the water and I'm like, are you kidding me? The XT4 destroys the XH2s. The 4K 60p is much sharper than 4K 120p. See, we upgraded, we got twice the frame rates now, thank you Fuji, but it's worse quality. So it's a trade-off. It's not just all fun and games. Oh, 4K 60 to 120. No, it's when it comes to HD 240p, it's even worse. It's even better on the XT4 again. I see the clearness, the clarity. It might even be slower. I feel like it's slower, more magical, more mystical. I don't know. Could I have missed focus? I probably did, but I have plenty of examples ahead where I definitely didn't miss them all. Here's 4K 60 versus 4K 120. This is the most weird shot with that mosquito on its throat. It's just like the most... I can't watch this. This is terrible, but the Fuji XT4 is much sharper, even though I'm freaking out. In HD 240p, it's not even close in this moment. It was a different moment. The frog moved. He noticed that the mosquito was sucking all of his life out of his neck. And then I switched lenses. It took a while for me to catch up, but so far, oh boy. Now here's what just pisses me off. Like 4K 60 on the XH2s is now not cropped, and it's worse. It's worse. Every single mode that you would ever use is worse in this newer, faster stacked sensor camera. HD 240p, they look kind of similar here. It's catching up somehow, but it's just like the noise pattern is much more obvious in the XH2s. I don't know what they did. What have you done? And last little test is, finally, 4K 120p does look slightly better than HD 120p. Thank you. Thank you for the victory. A small token. It's a token gesture at best, but I'll take it at this point. So let this sink in for a second. I just spent $3,300 roughly, Canadian. Those count in some countries. I have worse 4K 120p versus 60p. Way worse HD 240p. It's harder to switch modes because the custom mode, you end up scratching your cornea to reach it. On a reach around, you drop your hat. The F-Log 2 is noisy. Nothing is better. What I was hoping for with the XH2s was hopefully 480 frames per second, but that dream died hard. At least improved 240, but it's worse. Fixed the IBIS jitters. Did it? Here's 4K 60p played back at real time. I'm just focused. I'm trying to pan up and I'm manually focusing as I do this. It's a terrible technique, and you can see the footage that results in it. It's pretty bad, but it's bad, man. It's not good. There's a lot of jerky moments, and Sony wouldn't do that to you. When you do the XT4, it's not like any better. Like, it's still pretty bad. Like, is one like so much better? I don't think so. They both lose in this category. When you're just still, like, it's great, but when you want to start moving and like tracking animals, Fuji has that IBIS catch-up. That's bullshit. I saw a hawk. I was zooming in manual focus. I saw it. I'm tracking. This wasn't terrible. It's not like the most stable thing you ever seen, but it's not terrible. There's zero separation. Everything's in focus. Looks like a bridge cam, but not bad. I saw a hawk and I captured it, and you've seen that it's a red-tailed hawk. You know that it was one, and it's going on to a light post. And then I freaked out, got all shaky and crazy, and then I re-established myself, zoomed in a little more, and there we have that. That was 4K 120p, manual focus. Today was all manual focus, basically, until the end. Then I discovered something. Here's some 240 frames per second, little B action there. See you later, buddy. How about the XT4? Looks much better. That's HD 120 for some reason. I forgot to switch out of that mode, but whatever. It's still a fun mode. Fun to be in sometimes. Here's a little side-by-side action. It's not even close. I don't know, the colors are terrible. White balance got weird on the XH2s, and Fuji was just magical the whole time. Bees flying. That wasn't a motorcycle. You didn't hear anything. I saw this yellow thing, yellow finch maybe, warbling his way through life. He's chewing these things, trying to get some seeds. 4K 60 versus 120. XT4 maybe a little sharper, XH2s a little slower. It's interesting the color difference. They're both in F-Log because that seems to be the best profile to shoot in. And when I just put the LUT on, it seems that the XT4 is like more saturated, maybe more contrasty. It seems like the XH2s has more dynamic range even in F-Log 1. It just seems like that. I'm sure you could grade it to your preference. Not bad. I spent about 3 hours trying to follow this yellow bird around in a green forest. I kept trying to see if I could track it. I suck at my job. For example, here's one. I was like, should I follow that one? No. Stay disciplined. Okay, this guy, let's go. I'm late. Okay, I can catch up. I did. Somewhat. Not really. It's hard. I feel like we shouldn't be at ISO 4000. Why is that? That's a problem. I'm in a controlled lighting scenario. Bad things happen to me. I saw this night heron. I think the XT4 looks better. It's tough to know, like, what are you getting for wildlife here? You get animal eye detect, but it really doesn't work very well until the hack that I will show you. But we're in dire need of some Kaizen updates already. It's like not even released yet. And Fuji, I hope you're working on something. You better be cooking up some firmwares into a sandwich. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. One of the best shots I got was in the XH2s at 240 frames per second. I was like, could it happen? It looks kind of nice. This little song sparrow type of thing. Like, I'm not seeing the destruction I was seeing earlier. I don't know if it was sunny, just the lighting was nice. He's in focus, maybe a she. ISO's not at 45 million. Looks pretty decent. So I'm somewhat impressed with this shot. So you could take it out and return without disappointment, and that's exciting. 4K 60p looked much better, of course, much sharper, but not as magical, because I prefer the slowness. XT4 had some similar moments, although none of that was in focus. I pressed the record button too late. That's on me. I was waiting for him to fly off. But that's beauty. That's beauty right there. Fuji colors, you still have it. XT4 and XH2s both have great colors, and that's thank the heavens. Alright, as this squirrel leaves my life forever, I want to teach you a little hack I found to make the animal I detect somewhat usable. Now this is what I'm used to. A bird comes into the scene, Fuji runs away from it. It's like, oh no, a bird. That's not what it should mean. A bird detect autofocus, then you run. That's what Fuji does. It's annoying. But if you slow down your settings, you go to 4K 60p, and then you go locked on +4 and speed -5 all the way down, that seems to produce somewhat reliable images. It doesn't seem to be hunting around. You have to have that slow speed, so slow that you can't even detect yourself. Oh, that 240p just looks like absolute and utter trash. That is so disappointing. I wouldn't say it's like perfect autofocus. I can see some drifting happening, but that's like a tough shot. It's going for the eye, and there's only like a sliver of a percentage of eye in this whole shot, but it's kind of nailing it. It's definitely not perfect, but there's at least moments where it's usable now, but you have to go down to 4K 60p. It just doesn't work well in 4K 120p or 240, so I find that all the things you're excited about, F-Log 2, Animal Eye Detect, these things don't work in the highest frame rate. Same with like Panasonic, oh they have dynamic range boost. Doesn't work in the highest frame rates. It's really annoying. Sony has like 240 frames, and then certain things just don't work in that mode, like active stab, although that's terrible with telephoto glass anyways. Get real with yourself. I mean, it's not like 4K 60p isn't beautiful, but I already had it on the XT4, and it was sharper on the XT4 with more reach because it punched in. I don't know, man. I'm not seeing a ton of advantages. So from what I've seen, I think I prefer the XT4 for wildlife, and when it comes to YouTubing, the autofocus is much better, and I could see F-Log 2 being fun, and Nostalgic Neg is kind of cool if you don't wear a red shirt. I'm not seeing a ton. I could picture myself selling this immediately before this video is even uploaded. Oh, somebody buy it. Oh, pay what I paid. Please. You know the worst part of it all? That B&H deal where you got a free 325 gig CF Express card? The amount that I paid for my card and the reader means my discount is less than just a normal person. As a YouTuber, I paid normal person money. Oh, I feel so unspecial. Nostalgic Neg. Not worth it at all. How's that lens, by the way? We're gonna do a little vlog test. I think I'll do, since I have the 8-16, I'll do that. One will use that, and the other will use the Zeiss. Zeiss should look a little better, but not bad. So it's a somewhat capable YouTuber's camera. Wildlife, don't even try it if you're an XT4 owner. I should have changed the white balance. Lots of dynamic range, not enough though. What a terrible end to a terrible video. Oh boy. The light. I hit a LED light behind the scenes, never been done. Okay, I'll leave. So, Fuji, you have a lot of work to do to catch up to your peers. I'm not impressed, and I'm devastated. My wallet hurts, and I need a Band-Aid. Hopefully a Sony one, or Canon. I'm gonna go buy it through my affiliate links like 35 times so I can get some of the money back.